To learn to live the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Click the bell notification. It's all free. Well, it's a beautiful fall day today, but it's downright cold. Last night, we kind of ran the wood stove most of the night. I started the fire up about 6 o'clock, which is about 2 hours earlier than I had been starting it. Usually I just let it die out. Let's say I started at 8 o'clock. I let it die out whenever it dies out. And it gets us through the night. And by morning time, it's 68-ish degrees in the house. Well, last night, like I said, I started it at 6 o'clock. And I didn't let it die out. I just kept putting small little logs in it. Half-size logs. I let that one burn down. I let it go to coals. I throw another one in. Well, right before I went to bed, I put in a full-size log. Now, I got up at 2 o'clock thinking I was going to have to restart the stove, but it was 78 degrees in the house. So I thought, well, that's plenty warm. So I went back to bed, got up at 5:30, and it was 64 degrees in the house. So it dropped 14 degrees from 2 to 5:30, which I thought was quite a bit, but not too cold. I mean, I wasn't uncomfortable. Got up this morning, started another fire. So a few days ago, I was down here cleaning this up. As you know, I've been trying to clean this up because right over here is our solar panels. You may see them over here, I don't know. There's our solar panels over there. Our garden is right over there. I doubt you can see that. And then next year I'm gonna start my corn garden just up past these trees. The problem is, as you know, the sun comes up over there on that side of the woods and then sets on this side where I'm at now. Well, with all these trees here, I wasn't getting any evening sun or morning sun. So I've been cleaning this up. I got these cedar trees and this little mess over here. So a few days ago, I started in on this. I got these trees down here, got one over here down, and I bound up my chainsaw. So I'll put a card at the end of this video to that video so you can see what I was doing. I'd appreciate it if you'd watch it. It really helps out the algorithm. Let the algorithm know that you like this video. It really has helped. It's improved my channel by about 13%, which is really significant. I appreciate it. To everybody who's participating in it, big help to me. And that way you'll also get to see what I've done over here. Now, you got to remember, last winter, this was all covered in trees. So everywhere you see a little stump here, a little sprout, or stumps or trees, all this was covered up all the way up to where the firewood is. So we've gotten all this cleaned up. Now, eventually I'll get in here and knock these little twigs down and different things. I've been mowing it, keeping it down so I can walk through here. It's pretty stickery, bushy. There's thorns everywhere. So you gotta be careful. Now, somebody suggested I get goats to clean this up. Well, I don't say somebody. I get about 10 comments a day. I say I need goats. I've talked about goats before. I've had goats in the past. I don't see any benefit in them. Yeah, they'll keep the yard clean, but so does my lawnmower. I just don't need goats. Somebody actually said I need to rent a goat. Well, I don't even know how you would rent a goat. I mean, then you're responsible for that goat. I'm not gonna rent a goat just to clean this up. First of all, goats don't eat trees. Well, that's not true. They do eat trees, but they're not gonna knock them down. I had 2 peach trees. Best tasting peaches I've ever had. I don't even remember what kind they were. They were just delicious peaches. We had 2 goats, and we put them in there with peach trees. Well, I had no idea that goats would eat the peach trees, but they did. They ate all the way around it as high as they could reach, all the way down to the ground, and killed those 2 peach trees. Well, that's what they would do here. I'd let goats out. They'd be eating all the trees down there. I don't want those trees killed. I want to knock these down, but they're not going to knock them down. They'll just kill them. So I'd have to wait 2 or 3 years before everything fell over. So goats is just I'm not interested. Now, in a previous video, I was talking about butchering a hog. And somebody says, oh, you need to watch such and such channel because they butcher goats. And it's a similar process. No, it's not a similar process because with goats, you actually skin the fur. With pigs, you have to burn off the hair because they have a skin like we do, whereas a goat has a coat. So similar to chickens, you have to put the chickens in boiling water so the feathers will come out. We'll put the pig in a tub of water. We got a bathtub over there. we'll put hot water in it and we'll put the pig in it. And then you brush off the hair. Goats to me are just a nuisance. And when they have a kid, that's what you call the baby goat. Oh man, that is tough. I hated that because when you start to separate the mama from the kid, the mama just goes insane, goes berserk and just screams and screams and screams. Now I'm just not interested in goats. So the last time I was down here, I messed up my chainsaw. I got a 14-inch chainsaw. It's a cheap one from Home Depot, a Ryobi chainsaw, gas powered, not the electric kind. What happened was I got the twig in between the chain and the bar, and it messed up the bar. So that has put me on a holding pattern to get the rest of this knocked down. It's not going to take me long. Once I can get in here and just zip it all down, I don't need to cut it up right now. I can do that later. I can take my time cutting everything up, getting it cleaned up. I just need to get it down so I can get that corn garden ready for the spring. It's taken me a couple of weeks to find a replacement bar. So I went to our local hardware store and they wanted $20 for a new bar. And I thought, well, I'll just check around on Amazon. So I went on home. There was $20. I thought, man, that's a little high, I think. I don't feel like it should be $20. So I went to Amazon and they had the same exact bar that the hardware store had and the chain for $20. Well, how can you beat that? I'm getting the chain and the bar for the same price. So here's the old bar. You might be able to see that I got a little gap there. It split it open. So I'll put the new bar. This is a new bar, Oregon. And there's no gap on that one. So right up here is a little teeth. And so your chain is supposed to catch on that teeth. Well, this got so hot that it burned the bar. So here you might be able to see the teeth, and that turns as your chain goes around. So I got that and the chain at the same time. Now there is all kinds of instructions on the back how to match up the chain to your bar. What I do is when I buy a new chainsaw, I always ask the guy, can you sell me a chain also? So the chainsaw comes with a chain, and then I always get a second package. That way the guy say, hey, here it is. And then I keep the package. I have a chainsaw, say I think an 18-inch, that I've had for, well, since 2001. And I've kept the same package, the original package, because this has everything you need on it to tell you what you're buying. So here's my original package to this chainsaw, the original one I bought. And you can see on here, it says S52 right there, S52. So all I ever have to do now is just keep that number in mind. And right here, you'll see S52. Well, this bar and this chain came attached. I've already detached it. It was hanging like this. And so 14 inches, exactly what I needed. So I went ahead and read the rest of the numbers, made sure everything matched off the old package. Well, I could read this on Amazon. You can put your mouse over it and it expands out. So that was easy to do. It's just a lot easier for me. I'm sure that all the experts are going to come out and say, oh, here's how you determine the chainsaw method, and I won't understand because people try to explain it to me before and I just don't get it. This channel is all about how easy life can be without all the experts. So this isn't going to be hard to do. I am going to replace the chain also. My original thought was I would save the chain, but after I noticed the bar had burned, I figured the chain has probably burned also. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this chain off real quick. The bar is already off, so there's just two nuts on the side of it. And the chainsaw always comes with a special tool. So it's got the size of the nut right here. It's got a screwdriver on the end of it. So all you gotta do is just loosen it up. And then this case cover comes off most of the time. It won't today, there it goes. And so this is your brake. This is how the chainsaw gets a brake on it. So, and that wraps around this and stops that. So if you ever get a kickback, that'll hit your hand and lock it. So I'm gonna take this chain off. Now, one of the maintenance items you should always do is try to clean this up as much as possible. But I normally just use gasoline. You can use brake cleaner and different things. The key part to this whole chainsaw keeping clean is this spot right here. That's the oiler port. So oil comes out of there and oils your chain. You got to keep that clear, otherwise you'll burn up your chain and your bar like I did, but mine was broke. That's not because of lack of oil. So we're going to put on a new bar. That's just not hard. So what you have is you got your new bar here, and that'll fit around these two screws. These two holes right here are where the oiler, I showed you where the oiler is. The oiler's right here. So when you line that up, the oiler is going to line up to that hole. About every time you sharpen the saw, you should turn your bar over because you've got two oilers. And the reason you want to do that is you want this bar to wear evenly on both sides. Because as you're always pushing down on wood, that blade is always having to push down on the bar, and that wears it down. Even though there's oil on it, it wears it down. Okay, one of the key things you want to make sure of is when you put this chain on, that you put it in the correct direction. You want the teeth to always be on the top side of the chain, to always be pointing that direction. So you'll get the chain into the groove of the bar. So you're going to put this back on, and there's a hole that has a little knock that's got to line up in it. That's your tightener. So you're going to have to loosen that to get that in there. Once you put that plate on, you're going to put these nuts back on, and we're going to tighten the chain up. So you don't tighten this all the way up, you just keep it snug. Okay, so now we can see the chain is pretty loose. So we're going to tighten that notch up that we loosened just a few seconds ago. And see, now you'll see that it's tightened up. And that's how you put a chain on. If you'll check out that video that's popped up right here on the screen, I think it's right here, I'd appreciate it. And you're going to see what I had done last time to the property and how I messed up my chain. So I hope I can inspire you to look forward to your future when you're living your dream. Thanks for watching.